Hi, everyone, and welcome back to State of the City. I'm your host, Morgan C. Mullings, and today my guest is Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa. She is from District 10, which covers most of Washington Heights, and we're going to talk to her a little bit more about her new role in the council as a new council member in the freshman class. And we are definitely going to talk about what it's like to be a woman in the majority woman council. So, Carmen, it's really great to have you here.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Yeah, so tell our viewers a little bit more about yourself and how you became a council member. I know that we've had you on the show before when you were campaigning, so now I want to get to know you as the council member.
Yeah, and it's always fun to come on and just talk a little bit more about us, the work we do, and our community. So I grew up in Washington Heights, so I'm an uptown girl. I was born in the Dominican Republic, and I immigrated here as a baby. Like many Dominicans did back in the day, we knew someone who lived uptown, and we all came here. So my district is majority immigrant, majority Latino, but it is a diverse district. We have a ton of Jewish neighbors that have made uptown their home. We have obviously the vast diversity that we see across the city.
This is a really good time to talk about, what is the biggest issue facing your district right now? I mean, there are so many, we're all dealing with COVID, we're all dealing with economic crisis, but what is District 10 going through?
Yeah, they're multi-sectional issues, right? So they're issues that the root cause is poverty most of the time, lack of access to government services and resources like stable employment, for example, that leads into then the housing crisis that we see where people are continuing to be priced out of our neighborhoods. The Inwood section of my district under the previous councilman was also rezoned. And so we know that with rezoning comes, predatory equity and other predatory practices that seek to exacerbate that housing crisis. Definitely, we've been the victim of a few fires the last 2 years as well. Thankfully, no one has lost their life in the most recent fires, but the issues of dignified housing condition continue to be something that I hear about every single day. So overall, we just need our government resources to work in coalition to uplift the quality of life here in Upper Manhattan. And I'm laser focused on that. I'm excited to be the first woman elected to this seat. And, for me, it's an honor to represent the community where I was born, where I was raised, and where my daughter was born. And I'm just excited for what the future holds.
Yeah, and you mentioned being the first woman to hold this seat. I know you took over for Councilmember Dennis Rodriguez. We covered him a little bit, and it'll definitely be interesting to see a woman in this role. Not only that, but we are seeing a Black woman in the role of council speaker, and we're seeing many more women in council roles and as council chairs of specific committees. Now, you were recently appointed chair of the Civil Service and Labor Committee. What will you be doing in that role?
Yeah, well, first, let me say that I'm so excited about the leadership of Speaker Adrienne Adams, the first Black woman to occupy this seat. Long time coming, but she is someone who, as she says, was made for this moment. I've already had a few interactions with her. She is someone who is level-headed, understands, compassionate, and I'm looking forward to serving in her council. And yes, we have a majority for the first time ever of women. The goal was 21 and 21. And we got about 10 more than that. And of those, 11 of us are mothers. So I'm excited about the type of policies that we will bring forward. As a chair of the Civil Service and Labor Committee, my main responsibility is to look out for the workers of our city, to make sure that there's dignified working conditions, to make sure that the pension dollars that those workers have basically, strived all their lives to put together are invested properly, that they're safeguarded. I'm looking forward to working with our partners in organized labor. The labor movement in New York City has been at the forefront of movements across this nation, and they have a deep history of social justice and of uplifting communities. So I'm excited about issues that deal with worker justice. Before this role in the city council, I was the assembly member for Upper Manhattan for 5 years. And some of the work that I did have to do with worker safety conditions. So construction safety, for example, construction continues to be one of the most dangerous industries and most deadly industries in our city. How do we have oversight over construction sites across our communities and across our city, as well as worker justice? I mean, just this week, we are seeing this movement of the deliveristas, which are the workers who do home delivery for restaurants. What a moment, what a movement. And I'm excited to bring up those issues of worker protection that our city needs. In the assembly, I focused on the excluded worker fund, because as we continue to heal from this pandemic that continues to go on, economic justice for these workers that are forced to basically, leave their bread and butter in the height of a pandemic, they need to be part of the recovery of our city. And so I'm excited to tackle all of those issues, of course.
Yeah, we've definitely seen the news about the excluded workers fund, and whether or not that will continue to get funding is definitely up in the air, and we'll keep an eye on that. But as you said on the campaign, this is definitely a homecoming for you, and so congratulations to you on that. And I'll be on the lookout to see what you do with the labor committee. Thank you so much, Carmen.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you for tuning into State of the City, and tune in next time for our next new council member. Have a good day.